Hello, welcome everybody in the very first edition of Digital WOMEX. I'm Anna from Hangvető team, and we are here in MUPA studio where we set up this for the conference sessions. Let me welcome our host, Balázs Weyer from Hangvető, the programming director. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, write it in the chat. I think I'm give the word to Balázs. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Music Export Offices Network meeting. I see quite a few familiar faces, although the screen is quite far from me, but I can recognize some of you. Hi, Michal. Hi, Irina. Kostas, Yorgos. Hello. This is always so strange to start these meetings like this. Consuelo. Hi. Let's just hang on a bit while others are getting admitted to this session. So I probably stop greeting everybody individually, sorry, because it's becoming too much already. How many export offices are present? Because I see that not all of you are representing an export office, which is not a problem. You're free to be here and share your thoughts. But can you maybe put up your hands, I mean, technically, through that button? All of you who represent an export office? Or does it work or not? Export office's fate is also very strange this year. I mean, usually we are discussing what happened in the past year, what's the plan for the next year for everybody, but nothing has been more difficult these days than making plans. I mean, the most difficult part of this pandemic is the unpredictability that it brings to basically everything that we are doing, you are doing. And that's extremely true for the export offices, because I know that many of your activities, even most of your activities are focusing on exporting live music, if not exclusively, even if not exclusively. So, but that's probably been impossible this year. So first, I would like to discuss what have you done to replace the travel supports, touring supports that every export office is usually doing. Have you came up with other kinds of support, or have you just froze some of your activities? Who would like to share with us what happened to your programs this year? Who would like to share your experience, the best ideas that that you invented in this strange year? I don't know. Kostas, would you like to start? Sorry, it's your bad luck. You're on top of my screen.
It's okay, no problem. Are you hearing me?
Not really. I hear something, but yes, sounds better.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would like, first of all, maybe now it's better. I have put the microphone. Just say that we have a new initiative in Greece, as a Music Greece, is supported by the Ministry of Culture. And well, we were so happy that we would participate in WOMEX we cannot do it. We are in the period of organizing everything. We are finishing our mapping of all the musicians active and professional in Greece. And what we are doing for the moment is to organizing some seminars for the professionals and the artists, how to improve their export, how they can improve their profile, how to be well organized. We are trying to do contacts of the managers and the artists, and learn how to cooperate together, because in Greece it's not so expanding this practice. It's only with the big names, but the small bands, they don't trust managers, and the managers, they don't believe that is important, and we try to convince them that is a very good cooperation. So far we cannot export the music other ways, and ensembles and help ensembles to go outside the borders. We have chosen this way to help the Greek music scene. You see also Yorgos Markakis and Anastasia Bekov. These are the collaborators of Music Greece. That's for the moment.
And have you switched your focus from live to recorded music? I mean, the export of recorded music, or trying to increase traffic, global traffic on Greek recorded music?
Yes, in one hand, but we are not so far. As I said, we are recognized under umbrella of Ministry of Culture just in July, and and we got the fund. So we are in the period of organizing everything. We give the opportunity for the musician also to have to explain them how to have a live performance, and how to prepare the material in order to be exported better, because many bands were very bad organized. They don't have good videos, they don't have good websites, and so on. And we hope by the beginning of next year that we go to stage 2. I mean, to help them to have better profiles, and go stage 2 to start really exporting of their music.
Okay. Anybody else's experiences on this? I mean, usually we look at Music Finland as one of the best practice export offices, and we've got Tuli here.
Hello.
Who, if I'm not mistaken, but correct me if I'm wrong, you're replacing Hannah in this position, right?
Yeah, at least for now, yes.
Yes. Okay. Hello, welcome, Tuli.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Happy to see you all.
So what have you been up to this year at Music Finland?
Also like many others, we've been more focusing on mentoring and organizing all sorts of information, webinars and small events here in Finland for Finnish artists and for the Finnish music industry, since obviously we can't travel either. So we are having a series of webinars about, for example, how to promote yourself in social media, about funding, about different kinds of things for different kind of customers. We also been able to give some funding. I mean, like we usually have this support for traveling, for showcase and touring. So now we are also given that for promotional things for the Finnish music industry. And well, mostly we've been doing events online, but we've been lucky to be able to have something also happening in small groups live here in Finland, here in Helsinki. And for example, now I'm organizing, well, it will be online. I'm organizing this, since we were planning to do this trip to Berlin with a group of classical music professionals to meet people there and to network. So now we are moving that online. So it's under construction, but that's one of the things we're planning to have soon. And we were part of Global Music Match, which I think many of you have heard.
Yes.
And then in June we had with our pop and rock music customers, we had this online showcase event even. So we recorded some video things and then broadcasted them for a selected group of professionals from around the world, and then had discussions and one-to-ones and so on. So we've been surprisingly busy after the first shock in the spring. So of course it's not easy here either, because the whole music industry in Finland too is suffering, especially the musicians and the freelancers, but we're trying to do what we can.
Yeah, I mean, this is the experience of many, that the pandemic brought more work and much less fun. So it's
Yeah.
at least. So we are working much more for much less results and much less rewarding results, of course. But at least we've got the music. So for example, we've got here Tina, who is managing one of the showcase artists this year. And I remember you mentioned that for this year's strange showcase format, the video format, you've got some support for the video production locally. So it's was it the Colombian Music Export Office involved, or it was the city or regional level?
Okay, so hello everybody. I'm Tina Wróblewski. I'm presently in Toronto, but I represent La Mamba Negra showcase on Wednesday. If you haven't seen it, please, I invite you all to go to our profile artist and click on the video. And the strange times, I chose not to be against virtual, even though it's not ideal. I chose to be positive and try to look at it as new opportunities. We have more views from people all over the world that maybe were not able to see us live. And I think that because I'm trying to be positive in every way, things are just happening gratefully. With La Mamba Negra, we had a lot of support, but it wasn't easy. We had to knock doors with the Ministry of Culture, with the city of Cali, which is where the band is from. We also had to create this idea of trying to sell the fact that it was the first band from Cali, Colombia, who was going to be at WOMEX. So it was not that to sell it, but to say, okay, we're now representing the city. How can we represent the city and the band showing Colombia in general? So we were at that city, they support us economically. And then we also knock at doors at the tourist office of the city. And we were lucky because then we went and talked to people about the scenario where the video was done, and they gave us the chance to do it there for free. So it was just a lot of talking and a lot of asking for help, and it wasn't easy because we didn't have the money to produce that video. It wasn't easy, but it's not impossible. So I'm very happy that it was done. And there are many ways to shoot a video. There are many ways to interact with the public. I think my biggest goal was a lot of people say that it was too busy and that it was too much light and too much movement, but that's what it is in real life. That's the kind of band. They're not a classical music band. They're power salsa, they're funk, so they need to move. They have to make sure that they're bringing on stage and bring people in to connect. So you know, so my idea was like, you need to act on stage just like you were in real life, so people can, you know, join you and stuff like that. And that's what happened. And I think I am very happy with the result.
I think you can be, and I can confirm that this is a band that looks very similar live than they looked on the video. So they're totally unstoppable.
Yes, definitely the same.
Regardless the platform.
That's it.
And probably what export offices might be interested in is that how do you find the feedback? Was it, I mean, the online feedback or the feedback after the online showcase? Is there sufficient interest, or people just don't know if they would be able to book anyone next year, and everybody's small talking, but to no end?
I had a lot of people that actually wanted to, radio stations mostly, just to promote their music, and then publishers and stuff like that. We have festivals already confirmed for next year that were postponed this year. None of them have been canceled, so I'm very happy for that. I have also speak to other programmers saying that we're willing to do it virtually. It doesn't matter, we can't stop. So we have to continue, either if it's live, obviously amazing, we're happy, but that money that we were supposed to invest with the help or the callings of the artists and stuff like that, we will invest that money into the virtual showcases. It must be. So according to the budget that we get, then of course we create that specific video for that festival and according to their guidelines. But I'm not giving up. I'm knocking doors regardless. We have to be higher if it's virtually or live, and if it has to be for 2022, we have to continue working, and this is what we're here for.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Okay, export offices. Anybody else who wants to share some new ideas that worked for you this year? Don't make me pick someone all the time. I'm feeling like a bad school headmaster here. This is supposed to be a network meeting, which is more like a round table, not a frontal lecture. Who wants to come forward? Okay, but then let's. I'd call forward Michal. Are you here? Can you hear me? From the Mickiewicz Institute.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So what's the experience in Poland? I know you're not an export office, as
yes. Thanks for saying that.
Per definition, but you are supporting a lot of cultural exchange for Polish artists. Anyhow,
what's happening in Poland, I would call dark ages. This is what we are, meeting last days. Other than this, we are going through major changes program-wise in terms of the structure, employment, every aspect of. It's like the new beginning for the Mickiewicz Institute. So these things, like the quarantine and pandemic close up, was going next to a process of total reprogramming of Mickiewicz Institute. I'm sorry, I will not start the video because I'm actually staying sick at home.
Oh.
So so I stay.
So get better then.
I'm trying. Thank you. It's not that serious, thankfully. But few of my close friends from the music industry, they go through serious things. So if we had skeptical people on board, I think this is time to, give it up. Anyways, I won't put much into the table because, as you said, we were never export office, and I think the direction we go now as an institute is even farther from that. We have export office established in Warsaw, which is literally called Music Export Poland.
Yeah.
So we were actually very busy with trying to program institute movement in perspective of 3 or 4 years forward.
Mm-hmm.
And the basic obstacle is anytime you start to talk to the partners, no one can predict what's going to happen next, and this is really shaky ground. And there were like few months during summertime when people actually started to forget about the problems and they start to believe, okay, things are going back. You know, the summertime, people I think stopped thinking like, hey, we're gonna have a second wave. Like people's mind more went the way like most probably we will be able to operate in the autumn, and people started to move with events, with dates, with programming stuff. I think we have a little gap when we actually did things, few events in a time when they normally happen in July and August. Also one good jazz event that usually happens in December happened in early October.
The Jazz Juniors or
Jazz Juniors, yeah, exactly. But other than this, we are facing the problem like the partners say, okay, we want to cooperate, but we can't actually make any promise to you that things are going to happen. We legally cannot do that. So I think it's good if you try to not waste the time and you organize webinars and all the discussions and educational activities. However, if this is the only thing you can do at the moment, it's not properly working because if everybody do it at the same time, it's simply, I think this is not the way how we can, actually think about the future activities. Like, so I put a question mark because I don't have any, valid solutions or ideas about the third way, between online and offline, Few months ago, I talked, I think in Košice, that I believe if we can make festivals as they were happening so far, there needs to be a way to create a new format of a live event that will be, not accessible for a lot of people, but probably only for small amounts. But still, I'm not there, and we are not there. And actually, we are facing the fact we are not prepared for the second wave, and we don't know what's going to happen next. Sorry for not being about it.
don't be. But maybe another kind of expert can be the collaborations that Mark has been talking here in the chat box. So those of you who haven't checked his intro in the chat box, please do. Mark, we met at this great event that you produced or co-produced early October. Or when was that? Late September, early October?
Yeah,
online event, of course, but it included also online showcases and conference panels. And it was really good atmosphere, and also it seems there is some continuation of the connections that started there. So yeah, tell us about it, Mark, please.
Yeah, so my name is Mark Marczyk, and I'm at the helm of a group called Urgent in Toronto, and we produced the first ever Slavic Music Meet, which was an online conference that with the goal of creating bridges between North America and Eastern Europe. And that's kind of been, you know, my passion as an artist for many, many years. And it's now sort of gone into creating those connections for the export offices. Up until this year, we were planning to do it in person at the Toronto Ukrainian Festival, which is a big million-person event in Toronto. So basically, the perfect launching point for Eastern European artists into at least the Canadian market. And it's right in September when the whole Midwest Arts cycle is also happening. So a really good sort of starting point. Of course, that didn't happen, but part of our thinking was that, you know, this is, as much as it is a big shit show, to put it frankly, there's also an opportunity here for us to work on those things that Kostas was talking about, the online presence, and not only online presence in our own circles, but how do we build the same network that we build at conferences in an online way? How do we do that for our artists, for our exports, for our offices, and build on the strengths that we each have? What I've witnessed or what I've seen is that somebody, you know, a lot of, let's say, you know, for example, Ukrainian artists, a lot of Ukrainian artists will have a very strong Ukrainian base, but then nobody will know of them in Canada. The only way for that to happen is for there to be a platform in Canada that introduces them to the Canadian market. So we've started to think about that and to try and push export offices to say, hey, let's think about how we can help each other to create a stronger network and platform for our artists online. Not as a long-term strategy of we want to live online, but as an interim solution to this, how we can effectively use this time to prepare audiences for our artists when we can go live. So from my side, I know a bunch of you that have came to Slavic Music Meet online for that first step, but I'm really interested in talking to you more and continuing to build that network. We're definitely going to be doing some, organizing some activity throughout the year, leading into our second Slavic Music Meet next September, and then hopefully on and on and on to get Eastern European artists to Canada and United States, and vice versa, to get our artists in sort of these exchange programs to Eastern Europe.
Thanks, Mark, and everybody else, please feel free to either introduce yourselves in the chat box, or ask questions, or bring up discussion points that you'd like to discuss, or just put up your hand and start to speak if you want to. Also, there are a few people who I think have never been before to our network meeting. Sorry if I'm mistaken in a few cases, but Marcel, I think we haven't seen you here before.
Yes, you have. Hi, everybody. But just on and off.
Okay.
Because just from time to time, because we're not taking part in all, this the international events where the meetings happen normally. And so this is why just maybe twice a year I find the time to have a quick passing by. So for those who don't know me, I work for Fondation Suisse, which is not actually a Swiss expert office, but which is a foundation for Swiss music promotion and expert. And since this is a very small organization, what we do is we're focusing on international events to come up with joint stands, with umbrella stands, or with network opportunities on festivals for Swiss artists, and especially national representatives. So in other words, we're on something which is not quite working. And so I guess.
Okay, I don't know if it's just hear or for everybody that the connection seems to lost?
Is
Are
the
you still
connection
here?
bad? Okay, I'm gonna just switch off
Yeah.
my camera. Maybe that will make things better.
Yeah.
So I'm just repeating the question. Just interrupt me, Balázs, if there should be any problems. So the question I would have for you guys is, I guess we've all been in online meetings during these last months, just like WOMEX right now at the moment. In terms of building relationships, what are your experiences there? Do you think there is actually something which is comparable to an on-person meeting? Do you think there is a potential that is worth being followed up during the next couple of months, or do you think the only strategy that is really worthwhile is going on and waiting for the vaccination and for times where we can meet up in person again? What's your experience?
Who'd like to pick up this question?
Tuli raised a hand.
I can comment just shortly. I think whatever happens, we need to prepare ourselves so that this won't be just for this time, this online thing, because of the climate issues and everything. So now it's all over, the online contents, and we're a bit tired of doing everything by Zoom. But anyway, I think it's the future, despite if the vaccine comes or not. We have to be some sort of prepared that this is at least part of the future. And I think these online events and meetings and everything, when we get more used to them, and there's a lot of things that we can still develop and make them better. So I think that's what we should at least try to do, even though it's of course it's not the same as meeting people in person, but it still can be useful. I think that's my opinion.
Irina.
Could I ask something? With the obviously explosion of online offering and of all sorts of quality, and I actually wanted to applaud WOMEX for your achievement in terms of how to give access to the program and conferences and stages, and in terms of quality as well. Quite good, but how do you attract new audience? Because I noticed for the concerts that we organize with our Midlands World Music Consortium here in UK, we have our audience that we built in the previous years through the live events. So now the audience that we have, they come. The new audience, I find it difficult to figure out how to reach to them, and also how to increase, how to stand out in the digital market, if that's where we're going for the next at least 2 years, I would have thought. How do you, and I also would like to hear from Mark as well, that he mentioned his online event that he did in terms of attendance. How do you bring audience to your online events, basically?
Yeah, I think that the answer is, I mean, this is just my perception, but it's threefold: quality, innovation, and advertising. Those are sort of the three. The quality of the video, as you said, with WOMEX is very, very high. And so people are more likely to tune in to something in that stream. That's just, I mean, I think that's a big part of it, is designing something that is going to catch people's eye. It doesn't have to be Netflix quality, but it does have to be something that catches your eye. In our case, what we decided to do was to put everything in black and white, to have a classic look with bright yellow branding. And it's not, that's not innovative. It's been done before, but it's something that in our world music context grabbed people's eyes and grabbed other people's eyes to say, I want to see what this is. And that's the first step. Innovation is about, finding new ways to present music, like WOMEX is doing with the multiple stages happening at once. That's an interesting thing. And there are other sites I've seen that have had complete rooms built, virtual rooms built into things. We're now talking about sort of development in the digital realm. I don't know that that's sort of in this group, if that's our mandate, but it's something to think about for sure. And then advertising. Nowadays, if you post something and expect somebody to just watch it, it's not going to happen. Or very few, you know. You're going to have some people that happen on it, but the way that the algorithms are built is you basically have to put at least a minimal budget when you're thinking about things into advertising, knowing who your audience is or who you would like to target, and putting a little bit of money into getting those initial views, because ultimately people will click when they see that there's the number is big in the corner of the screen. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah. Somehow, strangely, I think that Marsa's and Irina's questions are connected, because in both cases, I think that these online meetings are good for maintaining already existing connections with people. So if you met someone already before the pre-pandemic times, physically, and you build the trust and you have some connection, it's very easy to reconnect online. But to build a new connection and to build trust without being physically together and looking each other in the eye and feel the presence of the other, that's much more difficult. And the same goes somehow for the artist-audience relationship. So it's in this sense it's tricky. If it's just a limited while, this pandemic, it can still be okay. If it drags on for a few years, maybe it can really cause a problem. Anybody else who wants to comment on this? Yes. So for example, we've got Davida here. Davida, can you hear me? Who is the only actual person whose festival I've been to this year, and it happened physically.
Hey, Matirikiamon. Hi, Balázs. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, David.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I just thought that you are the only actual person whose festival I've been to this year.
Oh yeah, I know, because it's a nice festival, I guess.
It is. And also it happened.
Yeah. In a different way, but it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. I mean, I know about it, but tell everybody about it.
About the festival, you mean?
Yes, and how it happened. How did you manage to produce that this year?
So
especially considering that you're from Italy, which, you know.
Yeah. Because so I thought that I couldn't do a festival like I did in the past, in the last 20 years, because the atmosphere, because the mood, because the situation was completely different. So I thought that I have to do something completely different. Even too, because I have to, to put a small tickets, because usually my festival is free entry. But this year I have to put a small ticket, about €3, because I have to sell tickets in advance, to collect the name and the surname and the telephone number of the audience that came to the festival. I have to keep the distance and everything else. So I had an idea, and I said, okay, let's try to make, like storytelling of my festival in a different way. And I changed everything. The concert wasn't in the night, at 10 p.m. When we usually did the concert, but we did it during the sunset. Okay, and we call it twilight mode, because twilight is the light that is between the day and the night and the day is the same light, because it's like the sunset of an era and the dawn of a new era, something like that. Okay, so we did the concert at the sunset in not in the same square where we used to do, because our festival is itinerant. Every day is in a different small village in Tuscany, where I live, in Italy. And we had a great success because the mood was completely different and was really, really, really magic. I have to share with you a story, a very short one. One of the concerts was on the top of a tower, a medieval tower in San Miniato, with a stunning view. And we did like a tribute to Nick Drake, okay, called Way to Blue. And maybe you know that there is a record of Nick Drake called Pink Moon, okay? So at a certain point, we had the sunset on the right of the stage, and then the moon rising up pink on the left side of the stage. So it was really, really, really magic. I can't forget that moment. And we did another thing. We recorded some videos of not of the concert. I mean, we recorded just one song each night, and the day after, we posted the video of one song of the concert mixed with videos made in the area where we used to do the festival. That is a very nice area in Tuscany. So with the purpose to promote, you know, the territory, the place where we do the concerts, to promote cultural tourism and so on. And we had a great success. I mean, we did 12 concerts, and you know, at that time in Italy, the situation was really, really quiet. No cases, or better, very few. So it was really, really nice. And Balázs was there a couple of times. Balázs, I don't remember. You came to Vico Pisano and? I don't remember.
Trebbiano, what was there?
No.
Where Maria Mazzotta.
Ah, okay. Yes, was Tregghiaia. Trebbiano is a kind of wine that we have. Is the name of the wine, but it's okay.
Anyway. Yeah, wine concerts.
Yeah,
it's easy to mix them up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, David. And who has had an actual event this year where with people? Mercedes, what have you had this year? Were you able to produce anything?
We did just a few concerts just before pandemic, not post. So what we did instead is that we went on to do a virtual event, 2-day festival online, except instead of the 4-day in real life festival that we did, which was fantastic because, you know, typically we get about 120,000 unique visits to our festival in real life, and online we got 150,000 views. So that was pretty good considering what we did. It was very last minute. We had to pivot really quickly. And, you know, just to expand on what Mark was saying, I don't know if it was so much about knowing our audience, because we didn't really know what our audience was online really. Our social media following is fairly small considering our attendance. But I think what we did was really just market to everybody and anybody and work with the artists as well in order to promote themselves. So I think there's a large opportunity there to gain a larger global audience as opposed to just your localized audience that comes. For our festival, we tend to have about an 8-hour drivable radius where people come in and drive to our festival, because we're a free festival, we're a free event. And they come from the US. Since we border the US, we're just 2 hours away from it. And so therefore, for us, it was really exciting to see the demographics of where people were tuning in from. And obviously they were tuning in from all over, since we had 15 international groups that played during our festival. And so since then, and because it was such a success, our sponsors were very pleased with the results. They have then gone on to sponsor our virtual series, which we call the Connected Sessions. And so once a month, what we do is that we present an international group and a national group as well for 45 minutes each. And since then, it's been about building new audiences, really promoting what it is that we do, promoting our city, and the fact that we are a different kind of presenter within Canada. And so therefore, I think it's a really exciting opportunity right now of what's happening. of getting people to know what it is that we do year round, promoting our events year round, so that when we finally do exit this situation, or we go into that hybrid mode of whether it be virtual and in real life, which is what we plan to do once restrictions ease a little bit, because I don't think we're going to go full mode next year. I think that's impossible to think of that as a reality, considering people are still very afraid. And so I think it's about really building that larger international audience, that global audience right now. That's really, really important for everyone to do. And so I think when it comes to the bands, they need to adapt right now that virtual is the new reality. And so all these showcases that we're seeing through WOMEX or through Global Toronto or through the Slavic Music Meet, I mean, they're really, really important for bands to prioritize doing that, because we're still booking. We're not the only ones still booking. We're not the only ones that are booking, you know, in person, but we're also booking online. And that's equally important to us, because we have to keep doing something, or else what are we going to do? So I think that it's really important for the bands to understand that, but also us as bookers to collaborate with them. So I think right now is that huge opportunity for collaboration within, not only just between the presenter and the artist, but between presenters. Our resources are depleting. We don't have a lot of revenue sources right now. So let's continue to collaborate. So that's exactly what we did as well with the festival, is that we had streaming partners. So we had multiple festivals around the world that streamed our festival, and we did the same for them. So I think that's an opportunity that a lot of people need to explore as well.
Although there is a lot of concern about, you know, how streaming can be dangerous on the long term for the business or for the remuneration of artists. Also, this kind of online.
I think too, sorry, just to add to that, I think too, what's important is for us to continue with our groups and our associations, at least in Canada, for example, we have festivals and major events, lots of associations that do cultural advocacy within the federal and provincial governments, in order to have that sustainable funding. So we have received some emergency funding, and that's an initiative that a lot of you know, cultural organizations need to continue to do. Obviously, that's more difficult than in some countries than in others. In Canada, I think we have been lucky compared to others, but it's still not enough. The arts are still not valued as much as other industries are. But that's what needs to happen in order to continue to support the artists and to continue to pay them.
Yeah, we need Canada always to point at someone who's always doing better than everybody else. But yeah, getting back to the streaming, it's and these online festival editions, but not just the online one, because the festival that Davida just described, they've also created a lot of high quality audiovisual content, and that content's got some value. Maybe are you trying to do anything with all these online content or digital content that this year helped produce, or I mean not helped, but this year inevitably produced? I mean, does this have any kind of business or financial value that could help artists to make a living in these times? Have you produced any paid content this year? Nobody. Have you been thinking about that, or have you got plans for paid online concert platforms? Juliana, yeah, she's saying yes to, I don't know which question, but probably she's contemplating with the idea of paid concerts. Are you here, Juliana? Because I can't see you anywhere, just in the chat box. Hi, speak up. Ah, now I see you too.
Hi, I'm here. I'm just listening out. Yes, with a couple of bands, we have produced video content, which was also sold to the festivals. And they got exclusive rights for this content, which was shown only to them, was recorded only for them, and it worked. Yeah, so some positive experience here.
And those festivals, they sold online tickets? Or they just had some funding that they needed to spend?
I think they had some fundings, but I think there is some future in paid online concerts. And if you have a high quality video content, it can be very powerful. You know, so many people who refuse going to the cinemas nowadays, they just watch videos on Netflix, whatever. I am among them. So I only very seldom I go to the movies when I want to see some very original, like with original language and not commercial film. But generally I'm at home. So if I get to see very high quality concert, I would maybe prefer to see it at home.
And you haven't even mentioned your own cooking and music show.
Well, cooking and booking, yeah, I'm enjoying
cooking
that.
And booking, yes, that's what it is.
Booking and cooking, yeah. I just love this idea without a big plan, big promoting plan. But the idea was to promote bands through the food, through the combination of culture, food and music. And we are trying, we hope we are doing something different when we choose the band, the song, and we try to synchronize this video cooking process with the music and telling some story about the cooking and about the music. So I am very excited about this. Should develop it in some direction. Yeah, thank you, Balázs, to promoting my videos. Yeah, I think so. I think yes, there are some possibilities. They don't remove real concerts, and they don't have to, but we have to admit that the reality is this. And if we use this moment right, we can get some very interesting results. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Julian. And Consuelo agrees with you on that online concerts can be paid only if they are very high quality, and I think it's also obvious. Consuelo, how have you find the showcases now? So I mean, are they the kind of quality that you are referring to, or you aim even higher?
Hi to everybody. Happy to be here in this digital version. Yes, I have enjoyed many of the contents of the showcases. Of course, as a Colombian, I enjoyed the La Mamba Negra, but last night also the Hura, I think from Iceland. It was Hugar from Iceland. It was absolutely amazing.
I think so too.
It really touched me. It was great production. It was really charming. And also those guys from Mexico, the Son
Rompepera.
Son Rompepera was great because I felt that I was in their neighborhoods, up on the streets. So it gave me the idea of being on the streets. It was great. I think there are many things we have to develop on streaming. We don't need to be afraid. Absolutely, it's different. What I think is that live music is completely different. And the emotion when you are personally in a concert is completely different. I think we cannot compare it. There are two different things. We have to think about that and to enjoy and to experience the streamings and the live with a high quality innovation. And producers and creatives are able to give that charming. That's the point, that's the key. And then the live music is different. They goes parallel, but they are completely different. those two are two completely different things. This is what I personally think. It's like when you go to I'm sorry for this comparison, but when you go to a theater to see an opera in the theater, and then when you go to see a movie, they are two completely different things, you know. And we have many things to do still to develop on the live and streaming.
Yes, I agree. Although I think that music is much more physical. I mean, the pleasure it gives, it's much more on the physical level than, for example, the movies. So the actual presence is important. But having said that, I really many of the showcases went beyond my expectations this year, especially the ones which is kind of surprised me, but where the background was somehow special, usually not on a stage, but somewhere else. Like, for example, the Maria Mortensen playing at the church scene, or Çoşkun Karademir, also a very beautiful setting. But yeah, many of the others too. So Hugar that you mentioned too. I think the background, the environment, that's a lot to the experience in this sense. Okay, anybody else?
I think Tina wants to say something.
Tina.
I do.
Yeah. Hi.
I'm right here. Sorry, guys. I do agree with a lot of things that all of you are saying. I want to say something similar that Juliana Volo said. I had many concerts this year already, also paid with different bands, with actually programmers that are present in this meeting. Most of them have been with funding. Some of them, I'm not really sure where it's coming from, but it's happening. I also believe that, yes, it is important to have presence in concerts. Yes, of course, it's wonderful, but we need to realize that this is what we have right now, as Consuelo just mentioned, and we have to continue. If we stop, culture and music is just won't be waiting for us anymore. So regardless if it's gonna be like this for a little bit, I do still believe, like Mercedes, is gonna be both. It's gonna be digital and it's gonna be live. The other thing I wanted to say about high quality videos, yes, it's important to have high quality videos, but also the production behind the video, whoever is editing it, is extremely important as well. It's not just filming. And also the audio. The audio has to be impeccable, no time for errors, that's one. And also it has to be masterized so good that it's equal for the entire festival. So that's all I wanted to add to everybody else that's saying this type of thing. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally understand with this part, of course. But also many of you, like the last time Boris has mentioned that he seems to be terrified by the idea of digital concerts taking over the live music's part, and I don't think anybody is suggesting that. At least not. I'm sure, but I feel a lot of people agreeing with that. It's just that everybody's trying to come up with ideas now that it seems to be the next best thing to actual live concerts. But once we will be able to have live concerts, I'm sure everybody will prefer that again. Maybe some of the digital developments or the experiences of this year will remain with us, for when people can't travel or bands can't travel or travel is not economically not worse. And we shall get prepared also for other periods, pandemics, climate change, travel restrictions, who knows? I mean, overseas travel is becoming more and more difficult, for example. Okay, who else wants to comment or add anything to this? Because
I'd love to just ask a question of the
Yeah,
group,
Mark.
just based on some of the comments, especially coming from Joa, who's also in Toronto. I was wondering, I mean, based on this sort of feeling that is out there that, you know, digital will never equate to live, and it's kind of the next best thing, but obviously not the ideal for many of us. I wonder, I'm just curious what the thoughts are on, in terms of industry coming together, just to put an extreme idea out there, like what would be the thoughts on, let's just stop live altogether, live digital altogether, to keep the value of live performance up there, to make an agreement among everybody who's who's in various parts of the industry, to say, if we're going to do digital content, it's for digital, not to try and reproduce live, to keep the value of the live performance up for when the time comes to re-enter that. Not to lead in any direction, I'm just curious what the thoughts are in the group.
Who wants to pick this up? Julie?
Well, just I think no one wants that live to be actually replaced with digital content, really, like you said. And at least, for example, here in Finland, we've been together with the whole music industry. Music Finland's been lobbying the politicians and the media to help the live industry here in Finland. And we also believe that we have to get it together here in Finland. We have to keep it going. We have to encourage people to still go to concerts. We're lucky here that we've been able to arrange actual concerts and gigs, of course, with limited capacity, but still it's been possible, and we would like, and we try all we can to get that message to politicians and to people that you can go to concert, and we need them, and we need that to be able to be international as well. So I don't think people, of course, we are doing stream concerts as well, because that's like something we just need to react of the situation, but it's not taking away the importance of live events.
Yes, I agree. Anybody else? Before we wrap up our session, as I need my glasses to check the time, but yes, we are about to wrap this up. Who else would like to comment?
I just like to add that also the copyright of whatever digital content we are putting out there as an artist for the festival, who owns it? The festival owns? Is it the platform owns it? Is it artist still owns it? No contracts exchange, and we don't know, especially here in England with Brexit, we don't know anything in terms of regulations. And I think on the bigger scale, this need to be regulated by policymakers, and we need to push towards that, a bit more clarity on that.
I think ownership of a recording is obviously subject to an agreement between the parties, but I'm not an expert in this. Who's got some knowledge on that?
Do actually festivals discuss that with artists who broadcast live?
I can answer to say on our side, we definitely do. And I know in working with Mercedes that they do as well. It's a pretty, I think it's a responsibility of the artist and the booker, as well as the festival, to just create whatever that, at this point, there's no let's say, industry standard. You just deal with it on a case-by-case basis. I've also performed in certain streams where, you know, there was the understanding of the artist gets the content and gets to use it. There's some where the venue or the presenter gets the material and gets to use it and pays a fee up front for it, like licensing to a certain degree. So there are different ways, and I think if you're having issues with it, that you should put forward what you think serves you and go from there.
Okay, anybody else? Antonio, is it you just arriving the last minute before we say goodbye to each other? But we can't hear you. Your microphone seems to be on, but we can't hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. Hi. Hello, everybody. Just to add to this stuff regarding the contracts and the online, I think it's of course there's no form, or you can agree, make a one half sheet, and that's it. But there is an industry behind, which is the label industry, the recording industry, which immediately gets a lot of competitors in form of recordings ligated to an artist. So if you, because at the end, you already spoke about the quality you need and in the image and the footage, and also in the audio quality. But it's at the end, it's a competing recording to an studio recording, or to a label, or to an album recording. So of course, at the moment, somebody spoke about the rights and publishing rights and all the stuff. You need publishing rights cleared for images. So that's a real big thing behind. So it's not so easy. And I don't think of course, I'm also in the same game as everybody. Say live shows is unsustainable. You don't have a substitute for that. That's not the intention. But at the moment, this big flow of concerts, free concerts. If you want to do a high quality online concert, you have to invest money. You really have to take money and to invest money. And the revenue is very little for many people in comparison what you can get back for ticket sales, online ticket sales. And at least you have a recording, or you have a good recording, which costs a lot of money. Then you compete with a label recording, or you have a bad recording you better don't want anybody to see again. So that's a little bit the mixture, I think. And so it is worth to involve also, in this case, the recording industry. Otherwise, we are creating, as live industry, a direct competitor to the recording industry.
Yeah, thanks, Antonio. It's great you have shared this. Anybody would like to add some final thoughts or not?
Like to...
Kostas, is it you?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, I just recognize your voice. I can't see. Yeah, no, I see you.
I would like just to say that this circumstance is a very good opportunity to develop another domain of music exporting, or promoting music, etc. I mean, I agree. Live concerts are as much better than the virtual or the online concerts. But maybe it's a good opportunity to have it additionally to the live concerts. For example, for me, it's not very easy to follow a showcase in England, but live, I mean. But if it's available online, I would like very much to see what's happened there. And concerning what Antonio said, well, it's not necessary that everybody creates this platform. It's very expensive. In Greece, we had experience in August. A company had created is this facility, is estage.gr, and a very famous musician made a concert with I don't know 10,000 or 20,000 people listening and viewing its concert, and well, it has success. It had some problems, and now they try to do the service better, but in general it did work. And some that was not possible to do live concerts. He did the concert online, and it was many thousand that could enjoy it with a €5 ticket, and the company takes something like 10%, takes not so much, and offers the videoing, recording, and streaming, and so on. Maybe this is a good idea for in every country.
Thank you, Kostas. And I'm sorry, I won't ask again if anybody wants to add something because I have to run. But it was great being with you. And I hope, yeah, with many of you, even all of you, we will be in contact in the future, and you will be in contact with each other, I guess, because these kind of talks are the ones that trigger new connections or help maintain old ones. It was great sharing this time with you, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with everybody else. And see you.
We thank you also very much for this session.
Yeah, hopefully somewhere in the physical universe next time. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.